Jill Malik. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit that sub button and the notification bell to be notified when I do go live.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be notified anytime we do go live. Feel free to contact Gio on Instagram at Gio_said_it. And I am Kat, his co-host. So today we're going to be talking about the Gypsy Rose story. Let me know, somebody, if you can hear me down at the comments below. The Gypsy Rose story is something that has just gone all over the internet recently because she was recently released December 28th, I believe. So she's been out less than a month. And I personally had not heard about this until her release. And I did go and watch that documentary on Lifetime. There's like a 6-episode documentary. I think it was a 3-night special that went into detail about her life. Thank you for confirming. That went into detail about her life and what she went through. So I want to talk to you about that. And I want to see what you guys think as well, because this whole thing is just, it's a crazy story. Natalia Speaks is a wild one too, very wild story. I've never heard of that either. So Rod Blanchard is Gypsy Rose's father, right? A nice Southern man from Louisiana. This is Rod right here with his stepdaughter. He met Dee Dee, which was Gypsy's mother, when he was only 17 years old. So he was in high school still at that time. Dee Dee was 23 or 24 something. She lied about her age. So that part, at the very beginning, my wheels were spinning, because it's like, okay, how did you meet somebody in high school? Were you sitting out in the parking lot? Like, how did you guys meet? How did this become physical? Because it sounds like they just started sleeping together and she got pregnant and he never was in love with her. So, and then already the lying had already started. She lied about her age that early on. So it was already didn't start off on a good foot. So they were pregnant and they had gotten married. I guess he didn't want to have, just a child like that without having, the old school thinking, like having to wedlock children, whatever. So he went ahead and married her, but there was no love there. So, they got divorced, etc. She took it a certain type of way. And from what Gypsy said, she felt like the mother even put blame on her for the father leaving. So, even that doesn't sit well with me, because that's a child. What could a child possibly do, as far as whether the husband, your ex-husband loved you or not? That's nothing to do with her. So anyhow, this woman, Dee Dee, she was living in and out of the projects. She had like warrants out for her arrest. At some point, her mother had passed away. She had maxed out 2 credit cards in this deceased mother's name. Like, it was a lot. It's a lot with this. So what happened was she had something called Munchausen by proxy syndrome. And I believe there's a new name for it now, but this is the name that we see, you'll hear about often with this case or with this story. And here's the definition of it: a mental illness and a form of child ABUSC, the caretaker of a child, most often a mother, either makes up or fakes symptoms or causes real symptoms to make it look like the child is sick. Now, this is what Gypsy's mother had. Okay. And when I was looking into it, they were saying there wasn't even a cure for stuff like this. You just have to go to therapy and things like that. And that's just really, really sad. At some point, Gypsy, when she was a child, she was in a car accident and it only caused like a little scrape to her leg. Her mother like started off with this whole thing. It was just like giving her a stint. She put her in a wheelchair. It was just like a lot. Before you know it, she was telling doctors that her daughter was afraid to eat. So they had put a feeding tube, it gave her a feeding tube, which had to be changed every 6 months. And it was very painful and uncomfortable for her. And on top of that, she didn't actually need a feeding tube. When she stayed with other family members, they see her eating through her mouth fine and dandy. She didn't have a problem. They could see her walking. They could see her doing all types of things. So they knew something was wrong with the mother. So while the mom had gotten in a car accident, her mom nearly lost her foot. So Gypsy had to live with her grandfather at that time. So she alleges that her grandfather had essayed her. Okay. And this is a picture of the guy right here who's still living. She claims that her grandfather had essayed her while the mother was in the hospital receiving care for the accident that she was in. And she claims this happened when she was about 4 years old. So when they confronted him about it, it blew me that he would actually turn it around on her and say, "Oh no, I never did that. She's the one who tried to touch me." It's like, what? I have never heard an adult try to blame a child for something so horrific. Now, we don't know if that's true. if that actually occurred, but his response shows me that it is, because it's just like, what are you even doing? And then she was like, oh, did he really say that? Like, he's definitely not somebody I would visit to his grave or something like that. She was saying she wouldn't go to his funeral or this and that. Like, it's crazy. The whole case makes me sick. In my opinion, I think she still needs to be. Thank you. I'm going to get to that too as well, because there's a lot of layers here, and it's a lot. I don't understand why Gypsy Rose came on my Facebook as people I know. Suddenly her social media has skyrocketed. Yeah, she's a celebrity now. She's getting all this attention. And I did hear the psychoanalysis of her through that guy that handles other cases, about other criminal cases. He was saying that she's addicted to something called attention. And he's making me think that's true, because this is like, she's writing books. She's got these documentaries. It's not just a Lifetime one. There's another one on Hulu. I mean, and she's putting all these things up on her social media. Like, she's making bank. I mean, they said her net worth is like 3 million. So she's capitalizing off of this trauma. Thank you, Pam. On Steve Wilkos, a lot of the sickos blame the children. Yeah, so when he said that, it made me think that that was true. Because you, at your grown age, you're blaming a minor at that, saying, oh, she tried to touch me. That sounds freaking ridiculous. You're disgusting, sir. So anyway, then when Dee Dee's mother had passed away, her dad started seeing somebody else. I can't recall if the father was married to this woman or not, but they was an allegation that was made in the documentary saying that Dee Dee was giving that woman Roundup, which is like a poison, allegedly. Later on, that woman died a slow, painful death. So we don't know if, Dee Dee has something to do with that, but either way, it is very disturbing. And see what else was discussed. She didn't want, another thing. Dee Dee did not want Gypsy to have a relationship with her father. So she fed her a bunch of lies, including, oh, that man was not a good man to you. He threw you against a wall. He did this and that to hurt you. None of which was true. So she did not have a relationship with her father because of what the mother was doing to her, was saying to her. She didn't want her daughter to have any relationship at all with that side of the family. So she didn't really know them like that. So, and that's very unfortunate, because I feel like her not having anyone to talk to, like, if she could have at least had her dad, I wonder if the outcome would have been different. But we will never know whether she offed her mother or not. Think about what you would do if you had no escape. Would you off yourself or take the person out who is doing the trauma and torture to you? Yeah, that's the part that she is in a tough situation all around. But anyway, we'll get to it. So she manipulated the daughter to not having a relationship with the father. And he seems like a very nice, well-rounded guy, and his wife too. Here's his stepdaughter. That's the wife. And the whole family on the other side. They seem like very nice people and very good people. So it's unfortunate she didn't actually get to build a relationship with them until she was incarcerated, until Dee Dee was, 6 feet under. So it's unfortunate. So Dee Dee with her Munchausen, she went on and on telling all these doctors that her daughter had everything under the sun, including cancer, asthma, muscular dystrophy. She forced her to wear a wheelchair that she didn't actually need. She forced them I don't know how she would just go to these doctors and go doctor shopping and just say, oh, my daughter has this, and they would just run with it. So there was something they claimed that she did, which is called doctor shopping. So if she went to a doctor and she didn't like what that doctor said, she would go to another one and another one and another one, and she'd have to keep changing doctors. So the fact that there were doctors that were willing to take her word for it and just perform surgeries on this child without medical proof or reports or anything proving that there was something with this child is very disturbing to me. All of them need to be held accountable. They're sitting up there in the damn documentary blurring out some of the doctors' faces. No, show their faces. Why are they not being held to the fire? And then they had 2 doctors on there. One of them was her pediatrician. He claimed that he called social services to go to their home because he said he had documentation showing that Gypsy had like several different birth years. So they assumed that she was kidnapped. So they sent Child Protective Services to the home, and they cussed Dee Dee out, and they questioned Gypsy to see if she was okay. Like, is that your mother? Da, da, da. And they never came back. So I think a lot of people failed this girl, not just the mother, not just the medical professionals, but also like child protectors. I mean, all of it. Y'all never went back. I mean, I don't know if that doctor was telling the truth or not, because she was trying to say, oh, these doctors are trying to CYA, blah, blah, blah. Another doctor, the mother was saying that Gypsy couldn't walk, and he did an MRI and there was nothing wrong with her. He told her to stand up and walk. And she got up and she did that. And she claims that she doesn't remember ever doing that. So she feels like the doctors are just trying to cover for themselves. Oh, I wish I would have done this. I can't just report Munchausen by proxy without proof. You know, should I have just done something? Would the outcome have changed? Da, da, da. It's like, I don't know, with these doctors, this is the reason why people don't go to doctors, why people don't like doctors. I'm not telling you guys not to go to the doctor, but this is why people don't trust doctors. It's like, is it just about the money for you guys? Or, you know, what is it? Addicted to fame and or attention. If you profit from your mother's M, you already have a problem. Yeah, it's not sitting well with me. I don't know how much family she has. I was blessed that huge close family, but losing them is the worst. All of them should be looked at very closely. Yes, indeed, I agree that everyone needs to be held accountable. I agree with that. Yeah, hold everyone to the fire because this isn't right. It's wrong. It's all the way wrong. So she had Miss Dee Dee had Gypsy wearing diapers by the age of 13. She kept lying to Gypsy about how old she was. She, you know, when she was 19, she would tell her she was 14. The father tried to call her, wish her happy 18th birthday. She was like, oh, no, 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 don't tell her that. She lied to her and told her she was years younger. She doctored her medical records, her birth certificate and stuff to change the year on it. So she kept doing that. And then she had signed some like power of attorney document indicating that Gypsy was unable to take care of herself. So that was another question. People were like, well, why don't you just run away? One of the reasons why she couldn't run away is because if she came back, if the cops found her, they would return her back to her mother, which is her captor, right? So it was very difficult for her. And I feel like she's also dependent of her mother just as much as her mother is dependent of her. She's dependent of her mother because she couldn't take care of herself. She's so used to someone taking care of her. Then the mother's dependent of her because the mother was using her for that whole scheme, that whole, you know, what were they calling it? It was just a huge scheme. It was a whole scam. She was faking this illness so that she can get a free house, free Disney trips, free this, free that. Like it was her livelihood. Like she lived off of this story of my daughter being very ill. And then she would keep making up like stories about how sick she was when it wasn't even true. And then she was like, she would get mad if the doctor was saying, no, she doesn't have it. She storm off and have an attitude and then go find another doctor. Now, what doctor just goes by word of mouth? Where is it? What doctors do surgeries without reasoning before doing the surgery? She tried to wait. Yeah, she did try to. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that too. She did try to run away. We're gonna get to that. So anyway, these people were living out in Louisiana, and you know, Hurricane Katrina hit. So all their stuff was wiped away. Their apartment was completely messed up. So they moved over to Missouri. So she continued to go take Gypsy to all these doctors in Missouri, and her excuse was, oh, all the medical records were washed away in Katrina, and the doctors just went with that. I mean, every doctor picture needs to be posted out there. Um, yeah, so they moved to Missouri, and then her, you know, she kept giving that excuse. So they referred Gypsy to a neurologist, and tests were negative, and he asked her to stand on her feet. The MRIs were normal, X, Y, and Z. So that particular doctor, you sitting over there talking about, oh, I wish I would have this, or should I have done it that way? Would that have done, like, you had the chance to do something. You seen that woman was making up illnesses. You just let it go like that. You need to be feeling some type of way about that. I wonder if she did all this. None makes any sense to me, but I guess that's why I wouldn't do any of this. She shaved her. Yeah, it's horrible. I'm about to show you these photos. Who shaved it? Yes, the mother shaved her head. She shaved her head. She gave her feeding tube. She made her wear diapers. She put her in her wheelchair. She had her on all types of medication. Okay, let's get into these meds, boy. When they went to the house, after the whole thing, we're gonna get into it. This was the medicine cabinet. Literally looks like a mini CVS. They also said that they found a stolen hospital prescription pad, just like something you see in a movie. Like, I never heard of something like this in real life. So the mother was also writing medication, with this hospital pack that she stole. And she used to work in the nursing field. So this is crazy to me. Look at all the medication. This girl, Gypsy, claimed that she was addicted and didn't even know. She was on pills for so long. So the system definitely failed her. Anyway, so getting back into it, the mother consistently went doctor shopping. She also made up an illness saying that her daughter had some kind of issue with her salivary glands. So she went to an ear and nose throat doctor, and she put Orajel on the daughter's mouth before they went to make the daughter have like a watery mouth, to make it seem like she actually had an issue when she didn't. And what did they do? They removed her freaking salivary glands, or salivary gland, whatever the hell it's called. Excuse me. They removed her glands, which caused her to lose her teeth. I think she ended up with only like 16 teeth. So that was also another unnecessary surgery. Like, what? What doctor? If you can't prove this, why are you doing surgeries and stuff on this girl? You can't prove that she actually has any of these things. Why are you doing surgery on her? That's insane. Like, she doesn't even have half her teeth are missing from her mouth. So she had only 16 teeth left, and she actually has to wear dentures, which is, you see, like, when she smiles, you see like the stuff in her teeth. But it's very, very unfortunate. Her mother manipulated Habitat for Humanity. That house that she was off in, that pink house, she manipulated the Habitat of Humanity into making it for them. That was custom made for them, and it had like a ramp for the wheelchair and everything. So all of this was a big scheme. It was a big scam for her to get whatever SSI, whatever she could get out of it. She did it so that she could do that. So unfortunately, she used Gypsy in the process. So they got that house, and then there was so much crap when they after everything was found, all that stuff that happened, they went in that house. It was full of crap. Like, they said that the mother was a hoarder. It was so much crap all up in that house, like all this stuff, like way too much stuff. And then the windows were like dark and covered, and it just, I couldn't imagine. So Gypsy was terrified of her mother. She was. So as she became older, she started becoming curious. She wanted relationships with real people. She was, interested in men, whatever. And so she went on to some convention, and she met some guy. Later on, she found the guy on Facebook, and she tried to run away and meet this guy up. Turns out he was like way older than her. He didn't have his own place to live. She ran off. She left a note for her mom. She ran off, and then she somehow dropped her phone. That part didn't make sense to me. How are you going to run away and leave your phone? She dropped her phone, and she goes to that guy's house. No, and when she gets there, she realized he doesn't even have his own place. So the mother, wakes up because they used to sleep in the same bed. Her mother wakes up like 2 hours after she left. She goes through the girl's phone, and she finds out where he is. So she goes there, and she's like, "Can I talk to you outside?" So she easily manipulates Gypsy to coming back home. Then things had changed at that point. That's when she tied Gypsy to the bed for 2 weeks with cuffs. Anytime she had to go to the bathroom, she had to ask for permission, had to be heavily supervised. Um, she would also starve her when she got out of line. I mean, it was just really outrageous because this was her meal ticket. Because for the mother, it's like, if I lose my daughter, then I lose all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So she kept her like hostage in her own home, and that's when she started becoming physical with Gypsy too. She'd hit her and this and that. She'd kick her, this and that, allegedly. She also kept like a BB gun beside her bed, but Gypsy didn't know it was a BB gun. She thought it was a real GUN. So she threatened her. She had a knife. I think she kept the knife by the bed too. And so one day Gypsy like confronted her about her age. She was like, "Well, I'm not even 19. Like, I mean, I'm not even 15. Like, I'm actually 19 or whatever." So she shoots at her mom 10 times. And because the wounds were all superficial, that's when she realized it wasn't a real GUN, it was a BB GUN. And the mother tried to make up a lie and say, "Oh, it was somebody trying to rob us at the Walmart." She didn't want people to put two and two together as to what really happened. So it was just a lot, and she was like, "Oh, I'm glad that it didn't actually hurt her because I didn't want to off her at that moment, this and that and that." So hold on, let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, she shaved her head to carry on with the illness and make it look legit plus punishment. Yeah, she needed her. She needed her. That was her meal ticket. Gypsy's mother had committed fraud, claiming that she had cancer when she was well. The mother, yes, all this for attention. It was part of this disease, Munchausen by proxy. Yes, she was on DRUGS. Yes, all types of stuff. Y'all seen the cabinet. These doctors should be doing more testing and caught what was going on. They should be held accountable as well for anything $1. I guess I agree with that. That these doctors shouldn't even be allowed to practice. Did all this for attention. Yep. Violated her daughter's 8th Amendment right under the Cruel and Unusual Punishment Act. I find that I can't get on her bandwagon. I understand the ABUSC and trauma, but her being smart enough to plan and execute. Thank you. We're going to get into that. We are going to get into it. But yeah, so she banged her up with that damn BB gun, and it was just superficial wounds. It wasn't nothing right there. So this peds doctor that shows up on the show, he's trying to act like all this and that, talking about he questioned Gypsy. I don't know if that's all true. He's talking about DFS demanded a real birth certificate. They did, but they never followed up. DFS, what? I mean, even in other situations with DFS, it makes me question why they are lacking so much, because there are other situations where the child doesn't make it out alive. So why are they constantly failing? Like, even in this, like, they really have failed. So that's that. What else? foundations. Oh yeah, Make a Wish Foundation too. She scammed them too. They were giving free trips to Disney and everything. When Gypsy had turned 18, the mother was telling her she was turning 14. She kept lying to her, like doctoring her damn birth certificate. She did something to her Medi-Cal card, making it seem like she was younger, and it was just a lot. So the benefits is something that she wanted. The scamming, she wanted the money, the benefits, the trips, all of it was a huge con. So people believe that Gypsy has Stockholm syndrome. So, which is similar to that whole, when they fall in love with their captor, similar to R. Kelly. And I don't like talking about that guy, but similar to R. Kelly, how those girls thought they were in love with him and really that he was just doing crazy stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it at the end. A bad taste in my mouth that she's making millions. Thank you. It does not sit well with me either. And that voice, that high pitched voice, that voice. And then I'm gonna get into this marriage too. We're gonna talk about that too. But so yeah, she was chained to the bed. Also, the mother did not want her to be with anyone. The mother wanted her for herself and herself only. She goes, you're never gonna fall in love with anybody. You're gonna be alone. Da da da. She allegedly put a voodoo hex on her, on Gypsy, and told Gypsy that she will never find love or be happy. So to this day, even as an adult, Gypsy believes that she'll never find love and be happy because that's what she was told by her mother at that time. So she put she buried something in the backyard. She did some kind of voodoo hex on her, allegedly. So she really did everything to control Gypsy's contact with the outside world. After this whole incident, when she tried to run away with that guy that was on parole, Dan or something, she grabbed the computer. I think she broke it. Even the computer, she scammed to get the computer for free. Later on, just to break it. And her phone, she destroyed the phone. Like, just a lot. So anyways, getting into more things, Gypsy ended up, I don't know how she ended up getting another laptop. That wasn't explained. She went on a Christian dating app. She started meeting men over there too. So that's also where she met this guy, Nick. Um, so while she was dating Nick, an ex hit her up, I think on Facebook or something like that, trying to warn her, saying that her new boyfriend is violent and abusive and controlling. And she kind of ignored it because she was in love and, she's desperate for this, just to live in this fantasy world, because this fantasy makes her feel like that's her escape from the trauma that she's going through, being held captive like this. So she's just so stuck in this fairy tale where she has this alternate personality, Rose, and then she meets this guy, Nick, who has an alternate personality, allegedly. Turns out this guy suffers from autism. So she ended up telling him everything. So at 21, D scheduled more. So anyway, at 21, her mom scheduled for more surgeries. Anyway, you guys get the point with that. Her mother just kept on going and going and going with this whole thing. So she met Nick on the internet on a Christian dating website. Turned out he was into BDSM, which I thought was like the polar opposite. If you're on a Christian dating website, why are you talking about BDSM? And she felt like that was like, it was exciting for her. She was stuck in this fairy tale of being like a Cinderella. Like she had a bunch of costumes and wigs. Like she didn't even have real clothes. So after 3 months, she was saying that Nick became controlling and seemed different. She also identified the fact that Nick and the mother Dee Dee were similar. So it's interesting that she goes from one controlling situation to another, and it makes me question even the relationship she's in today. Like if that's the type of man that you go for, I don't know, like her dude, he seemed like a nice Southern man, but it just makes me wonder, behind closed doors, is her current husband, is he somewhat controlling? Because is that a comfort zone for her, for her to choose somebody who's like that? I don't know. It's different. So he was very sexual considering how they met. They were in a long distance relationship for 3 years. He lived in Wisconsin. She lived in Missouri. So then she was saying if she tried to run away, cops would return her to her mom. She was deemed unfit to care for herself by her mother. So she started talking to Nick about the idea of how to get out of the situation that she was in. Okay. And you guys and this is Nick recently. I mean, he's autistic. So when she said, oh, he seemed different, that's kind of what she means. So she started getting into it. She brought up this idea. They started thinking about ways of how to do it. Should we poison? Should we do arson? This and that. And then next, they decide on what they are going to do. She ends up stealing a knife from Walmart. And there's other instances where she stole money from her mom too. I remember hearing that word, that she has stolen a couple of times, like money from her safe and stuff like that. But she stole the weapon the weapon that was used from Walmart. She sent a video to Nick of where in the house to go and how to do it. And that part threw me. I was just like, wow, you were that methodical. Like, you went out of your way to research on the internet and how to do this. And you sent a video and your excuse was, oh, I was so high. I was always on pain pills. I was just like in another world. I don't know if you being necessarily high is an excuse for you going out of your way to off your mom. Her mom has severe mental issues. Yes, I agree. And so does Nick. If you can figure out how to use all this technology and meet men, you could find help or way out from that ABUSC. The whole thing is just sick, and the mother be punished with life in prison, not M. She did say before they married, he was a trigger for her. Yeah, I agree. If you're going to go out of your way to research how you're going to off somebody, something isn't right there. There's something else, and it's just, there's a dark side to her from what I gathered. And it makes me a little scared for her husband. But anyhow, Nick being kind of like what he is, he's like, oh, you have an alternate personality, this vampire guy that it like wants to off people. And then he mentioned the R word as well. He was like, well, what if I R your mother before I do it? And he's like, I also have a fantasy that we'll have a kid, and by the time she's 13, I'll take her virginity. And it's just weird. Okay. She said after he made that comment about their daughter that they didn't actually have at that time, she said she broke things off with him at that time. But later on, she continues seeing him again. And so she was like talking when she was doing the prison confession. She was like, if it was a normal person that I was talking about this, about offing my mother, a normal person would be like, no. But for him, it was like, da 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 da. So she knew something was wrong with him. So anyway, she paid for his bus ticket to come over to where they are in Missouri. And that night she was watching a movie with her mom on the couch. And so she gives her mom a big hug, and her mom's like, what's that for? I'm not DEAD yet. So I just was like, oh my goodness. Not when you're terrified and scared. Doesn't matter what plan or research you do. When you are terrified for your life and scared, you will do whatever to get out. You will never understand unless you have been through trauma with your own mother. So anyway, so she pays for a bus ticket. She watches a movie with the mother goes to sleep. And so Nick shows up, and as soon as he gets there, he's like, the bee is dead, right? He's like, get your in the bathroom. So she goes in the bathroom, she's covering her ears, it's happening, and she can hear the mother screaming and screaming and screaming, and the mother's calling for her to help her. And so she says that she wishes now that she could have stopped it, but it's at the same time. And she made another comment. She said she wished she could help. She wished she wanted to help, but she didn't want to help at the same time. So she's in the bathroom listening to this whole thing happen, and the last scream was just like really loud. And Nick, that the job was done at that point. Nick comes into the bathroom and he instructs her to clean everything up. He also wanted her to be undressed. Okay. So she's cleaning up, and then she makes it seem like he was like just staring at her. Like he seemed really creepy. Like he was just staring at her while she was doing it. She also mentioned that after all was said and done, he R'd her. He put his hands around her neck, and she was knocked out. When she came to, it was time for them to go. So he was actually never charged with SA, from my understanding from that documentary. So they went off and stayed at a hotel for a few days, and they were like eating pizza, hooking up. It was like almost like this horrific thing didn't happen. And she's trying to make it seem like she was off and on having emotions, like one minute and then happy the next, and then imagining a future with him at the next moment. And I just was like, how? Like something so traumatic. How? So I have as well. Oh, okay. But and also for you guys that are easily triggered, I mean, feel free to hop off. I don't want to, get you upset and stuff like that. But anyway, so Gypsy had posted on Facebook triggering that her mother be found. So she posted some stuff like the bee is dead and the bee was gutted like a pig and all this other stuff, right? So people started thinking, okay, was her account hacked? Was it hacked? Like, what's going on? So in long story short, they ended up finding the body, and they thought that Gypsy was kidnapped because her wheelchair was left behind, and everybody thought she was handicapped and all this other stuff. So turns out they were looking for Gypsy. So finally they figured out where she was, and they ended up sending a SWAT team over to that house in Wisconsin. And she was saying how the boy's bedroom looked like a 15-year-old's bed. It was just like not what she envisioned. So they ended up getting, arrested and stuff like that. And so they questioned her Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to be the reason why you guys are, which is exactly why my is no longer allowed in my presence for my kids' presence. I'm sorry to hear that, Meg. But anyway, so they both get arrested, and at first they were gonna go on with a lie. So, Gypsy just kept lying. She was like, I would never do anything to my mother. And then the way that she was acting when they told her the mother was gone, it was like, it was just like, wow, you're really working at this lie. I would never do anything to my mother. She was my best friend, and da 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 da. Oh, you're telling me she's not here anymore? Like she started crying and all types of stuff. And so Nick, on the other hand, was telling the truth. He was like, yeah, I did it. I did it this many times. I did it. And I did it because she told me to, and she explained how to do it. So Gypsy was looking really, really bad in this moment. So she ended up getting charged. Let's see. She got charged. I think she served only gave her the lowest sentence. Her charges were reduced from first degree to second degree with a minimum of 10 years. So she got out, I think, at her 8th year. And that was that for her. So she got out December 28th of last year. Nick was convicted on first degree. He's getting life in prison without parole. He has no regrets and still loved her. There was one part where I think she had talked to him, or he wanted to talk to her, and it was like 3 years later, and he was still saying that he loved her. So, and then when she stood up on the trial against him, it was like she was trying to, like, I don't know, it was weird. Like she was trying to act like she didn't have anything to do with it. Now you orchestrated it, and you found somebody who was sick enough to go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like she made it seem like if he if it wasn't this person, that it would be somebody else. I mean, I don't know. We don't really know, but unfortunately she found somebody that she could get to do her dirty work, and now he's serving life behind bars. Um My sister was like that with her 2 sons, but I stepped in and took the boys and got her help. I kind of think that man she married is liking all this game too. Why would you reach out to her in prison? He said that it was a bet, like it was a bet between him and another friend. So I don't think he would have just done it without being bet. But anyway, either way, um we get into like today's time in real time. And so she's popular, a lot of men write to her, and she's cute or whatever. She ended up with some guy, I think his name was Ken. And I think they were engaged, but he didn't like the limelight. So eventually he left her. So then she ended up meeting this teacher, the social studies teacher, Ryan, right? And so he ended up losing his job dealing with her. They were like, this isn't a good look. But anyways, he got a new job, a better job. They got married July 20th, 2022. But either way, the whole thing was weird to me because 12 days before they got married, she was still talking and fantasizing about her ex. She even sat there and kind of laughed, like, oh, Ryan will tell you that I still like have feelings for my ex. I just was like, huh? So I'm not sure if she was saying that their relationship was very difficult because of her. Like she would say things, she would hit below the belt. And I feel like maybe she was doing that because she's used to people failing her, maybe used to people leaving her. Maybe she was just trying to test him to see if he would leave or if he would stick around. And he definitely stuck around. Um, but her still talking to her ex 12 days before you get married behind your back, nonetheless, that just is, it doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't. And this is a grown man, so you're playing games like this close to you being married. Like that doesn't sound good. How can you be still in love with your ex and talking to your ex just a few months or a few days before you marry Ryan? That doesn't seem right. That seemed like you playing games. This man lost his job over you. He seemed like a nice Southern man, but like I said, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I don't think their relationship is gonna last. Just she's never actually been out in the real world single, you know just dating, you know what I mean? So to jump from prison to being in a committed relationship living with a man, don't you think she's going to want a taste of like what it's like to just be really free? Like she was saying, one of the happiest moments that she can remember in her life is when she went to prison because she felt like she was finally free to form relationships with people. She felt like she was free. That says a lot about the situation that she grew up in. It does. Like I think that voice, that high pitched voice, that very innocent look, that it. I just, would you want her watching your children? I'm not trying to. It just, something about her is scary to me because could you? Could you do this again? Like, if your husband right now, if Mr. Ryan does something that really pisses you off, could you plot and scheme to do something to him like you did to your mother? You know what I'm saying? Like, it, I don't know this girl. And then she's like, somebody in the psychoanalysis that was done, they they were saying like the best thing for people who getting out of prison should be getting a 9 to 5. And somebody asked her, do you plan on going to work? And her answer was, no, I'm too busy right now. Meaning she's too busy doing interviews. You've seen her doing interviews everywhere. She's doing a whole bunch of press. She's got a book that came out. I mean, she's doing a whole bunch of things. So she's too busy being a celebrity to get a job, a traditional job. So I don't know. I mean, are you guys planning on buying her book? You tell me. She got this ebook that came out recently. Are you guys planning on buying her book? Here it is right here. Hold on. And I think her man is very patient to deal with her, the games that she plays. Here's her book right here, now available on pre-order. The games that she plays, dangling kids in his face. Like, that's crazy to me. Let's see what you guys are saying. My thing is, if she was medicated, how did she get some education during all this ABUSC? Allegedly, the mother was homeschooling her. I don't know if that was actually taking place. I don't know, but that was my understanding from watching it. I'm telling you, she has a manipulative side to her. Like I said, the mother's blood runs in her veins. I agree with that. She didn't really get educated till she went to prison. Prior, she had to, I believe, a second grade. Oh, okay. She never experienced men, and honestly, her marriage isn't going to work, not unless she gets extensive therapy. Thank you. That's another thing I wanted to discuss. In the end, when she was fighting with her husband over fights that she caused, she was like, yeah, I need therapy, and so do you. So they ended up getting therapy. Does that mean she waited till the end of her bid to get therapy, or was she getting therapy while she was in there? Because I also heard from the whatchamacallit dude that she was getting trauma therapy while she was in prison. I would hope that she was getting therapy the entire time she was in there, because she needs a lot of work done. Like, there's a lot there, and we need to dig into it. And he also mentioned that the I can't think of what to call him. He was saying how she very rarely ever shows this angry side of her. She never really expresses her being mad at her mother. So that also says something. Like, somebody said something like, oh, your mother was evil, she was a psycho, this and that, and her response on her PR tour was, oh no, it wasn't her, it was the disease. I don't think she did any of that stuff on purpose. It was the disease. So I don't know. I don't want a book. I've heard enough of it. She is smarter than you think. The whole situation is sick, and how are we as people play into all this drama? So, yep, nobody's saying no buy it over here. Therapy while she was in there for sure. She's getting therapy while in prison. Being smart about it and being book smart is completely different. Got to take your programs to get out of. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for letting me know, because I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So, and then when she got out, and it said to be continued, but when she got out, that part too was interesting, because they told her as soon as she got out that she needs to leave the state. So her family had booked an Airbnb so all of them could stay there together comfortably and welcome her home. And the way she broke down in tears, it was like, wow, this girl is severely broken still. And so she started apologizing to her stepmom, like, immediately, like, I'm so sorry. I hope she gets the help that she needs, continuing her help, whether she got it in prison or not, and continue the help, because it's going to be a long road for her, very long road. And can you imagine, she has to live with that scream, the screams that she heard that night in the bathroom. She has to live with that for the rest of her life. I'm sure that plays in her head all the time. So could there have been something else? And this is for you guys in the comments. You can call up, let me know. Could there have been something else that she could have done? What do you think she could have done to get out of that situation? Because there's just so many things that went wrong here. I don't agree with what she did. I don't agree with her mother. I don't agree with the doctors. It's a lot. There's a lot of things wrong here. What else could she have done, folks, that wouldn't have ended up this way? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, or call up. Let me know. What else could Gypsy have done? What do you think about how she's living her life right now? What do you think about her marriage? Is that going to last? What do you think about this press tour she's been going on? What do you think about her capitalizing off of her trauma? Let me know down in the comments. Not at all. And I don't like how they're making her famous. Yeah, she's a whole celebrity now. I'm sure there's probably still guys trying to get at her. There's probably dudes in her DMs. She's famous, okay? Like, she literally had no way out, but I don't condone what she did. But let's be real. it was her only option. She was terrified what would happen if she called the police and so on. Okay. And what else do you guys think could have happened? Was that her do you guys feel like, do you agree what Megan is saying? Was that her only option? But I hope the best for her and her family. Her this side of her family, the father, the stepdaughter, the mother, they seem very loving and supportive. So it's good that they got to get to know her and get closer to her after she was in prison. When she was in prison, she got to know the other side of her family and get to know the truth. But let me know what you guys think about that. The link for anybody who wants to call up and share their opinion, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to go on camera. Let's see what you guys are saying. I guess we can't say what she could have done because we haven't been in that position. We can only ponder on it. This story is complex. She doesn't need book tours or interviews. She needs to concentrate on getting the major help that she truly needs. I will not support because at this point it's a money thing. I don't agree at all. She could have left and ran away. She was grown, and unaliving wasn't the answer. If you can plan an M, you can't just plan to leave. Hold on. Oh,
Yeah, man, this is a crazy story. I didn't know the woman was drugging her daughter the whole entire time. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, this is really crazy. And then
Yeah,
now
look at the medical closet.
I was trying to listen to what you were saying about the dad. Like, what was the reason why her and the dad divorced?
He didn't love her. They just had a baby. I'm not sure how they met because he was in high school and she was an adult at that time. So they just
Yeah.
had a baby and there was no love there. And so I guess he felt like he had to marry her, just because of the baby, but there wasn't any love. So he left her and then blamed Gypsy for him leaving.
Mm. But the part that threw me off is when you were saying that she was drugging the girl the whole entire time and making her
Yeah, look at the
drool out her
cabinet.
mouth,
Yeah, look at the cabinet. She stole a hospital prescription pad, just like in the movies.
and she worked in the hospital too. Ain't that
Used to work in the
that's
medical
she
field.
broke a lot of laws.
No, she used to work in the medical field before she had this baby. So once she had the baby, all of a sudden the baby had all these illnesses, all these sicknesses. Then she was scamming these foundations to get houses and trips and all types of stuff, SSI, all
Damn,
types of stuff.
she had a whole cabinet full of shit. That's all man. I thought that's a refrigerator. That's a
That's
cabinet.
the medicine closet. Literal mini
Wow.
CVS. And even to today, people go as like tourists. They go visit outside the house, looking around in the window and all type of stuff.
Man, that's crazy. That's
But
crazy.
yeah,
So
she
she
was
basically
mentally
used her
ill.
daughter.
Um,
That's
mentally
just
ill,
sick.
broke laws, all that.
Like I'll be honest, like as sick as the mama was, I don't think she should have did what she did to her mom. She should have went by a different way. Like maybe told the little boy, "Hey man, call the police," and I recorded it or something, on the laptop, recorded her mom doing that to her. But I don't know. Maybe she didn't even know. She sounded like to me she didn't even know she was being used like that, like growing up, because she damn near looked like a kid in the face, like
But also,
still.
also she had to know. She knew she could walk. She knew she could eat through her mouth. She had to play along with this story. She was terrified of her mother. When she
This
tried to
story is
leave, her
just
mother
sick.
handcuffed her to a bed. Her mother had like weapons on the side of the bed. She had a knife. She had a BB gun. You know what I mean? Like she made it scary.
And you said she shot at her with the BB gun?
Yeah, she shot at the mother one night with the BB gun, but nothing. It was just like
Oh, she thought
superficial.
it was a real gun.
Yeah, she thought so, but it wasn't.
Ain't that something, man? This story is just, it's really mind-boggling. Like that,
Because I
that's
wonder if
that's.
she had withdrawal from all those drugs and how it damaged her body.
Oh yeah, she did for sure.
She
Mama
was
had
also
said,
getting high in prison. I remember she said that. So she lied to her stepmom because she owed somebody $50 for that
show somebody some money and what?
in prison for drugs. So she lied to her stepmom talking about, can I get $50 to buy a CD player or something like that.
Man, that one. You know what? I feel bad for her, but at the same time, it's like damn, she didn't have to kill her mama. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to
I
do it
mean,
that way. She could have went a different way. She could have tried to do something. I mean, but then you say earlier, like in her life, she tried to, somebody tried to help her or something like that, or the family
she
went
tried to
intervening.
she tried to run away. She did. And so the mother manipulated her into coming back and handcuffed her to the bed. And the
Man,
boyfriend that
that's
she got to
crazy.
do that was mentally ill. So
That's
Gypsy was a
crazy.
victim, but also manipulative. Yep, I agree. She's not a kid. She's 33 now. Yep.
That's crazy. That's not even
So it's
cool.
a sad story. We weren't in her shoes, so we don't know, what else could have
Man,
been done.
I
Started
feel
feeling
bad
like,
for her though, like being manipulated and being drugged up from a child, like from a sound like the mom was doing it to her since she was a baby.
yeah, she been doing it. She tied her to a bed. It was a lot. God bless this little lady. She's going to need where was all these family members when she was getting. The thing is, the mother was very manipulative. So she isolated Gypsy from the outside world. She had full
Yeah,
control over Gypsy. So she couldn't just, like she could. Remember that one guy? I think it was the grandpa or somebody. They said they had a trampoline party or something. And she asked, "Can I jump on the trampoline?" And so she started jumping on the trampoline. And Dee Dee gets home and goes, "What? Why are you have her on there? You know she's crippled." Because she doesn't want people to see Gypsy on her feet, right? Because this whole thing of, oh my goodness, she's paralyzed, right? She puts her in the wheelchair and keeps her in the house for the rest of the day.
yeah, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. I felt,
She
you
said
know
that she
what?
got dentures in prison.
She got what?
She said she got dentures in prison.
Chris, didn't you say somewhere in the story she felt safe? She felt like at home in prison or something like that. What was the word she
Yeah,
said
she said
about
when
prison?
she first got there, that was the happiest moment of her life because she finally felt free.
He's a 10. He's a 10.
She finally felt free. So she was free to
Okay.
form relationships. Men were writing to her. She's a big time celebrity now. She's definitely making her money off of this. Her net worth is, I heard, 3 million at this point. Um,
Damn.
I don't know. There's something manipulative about her, and maybe that the psychoanalysis that was done on her, where they said she loves
Mhm.
attention. Maybe they're right. Maybe she does love this attention.
Oh, what? Can I get a different one? Yeah, it's open. I'll go grab it. I put it
But
in the
let me
back
know
of
at the
here.
bottom of the comments, guys, what you think about this whole situation. She knew she eat and wasn't allergic to sugar and so forth. I don't know if she was so traumatized to think straight. I don't know. There is so much to think on when it comes to all of this. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of layers here.
Yeah.
The boyfriend is never going to get out. That's correct. And she's free doing interviews. Exactly. She's done and he's not. She's possessive, narcissistic qualities for sure. Boyfriend deserves to be let out of jail as well, and she should be making sure
Oh
he
no
gets.
no 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 no!
No,
I
I
don't
don't
think he
think
should
it's
be let out
getting
of
out.
jail after what I
Mm-mm.
was just hearing him saying he gonna touch the 12 hurt their daughter when she gets 12. Hell no.
But he has
This
mental
man.
issues. That
I don't give
boy,
a
he's
damn
not
how
well.
much mental issues you got.
He's
You
not
don't say
well.
nothing like that. But see, this the crazy part. Yeah, him having mental issues, understandable. But him just knowing that when the child gets 12, he's gonna do that to his own daughter. What?
Yeah, that
No.
Mona, that's what was said too. She loves attention because of what her mother was giving her. Remember when she would say, whenever she would get into it with the mom, or the mom didn't like something that Gypsy did, she would give more attention to the cat. So it's like it was a way to be like get her to get, you know what I'm saying? Like get in line. Like, okay, I want more attention than the cat. So I'm gonna do what my mom says, right?
Man, that shit sad.
Yeah, I don't think he should ever get out either. That was cold blooded. No.
Yeah, no. And then he said he wanted to, like, it ain't funny, but he said he wanted to unalive the mother and then have sex with her about it. Like, no, man,
No, no, no.
hell
He
no.
wanted to R her before unaliving her. He wanted to torture her. And Gypsy was like, no, 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 no. But he ended up R'ing her after the incident. She claims that he R'd her right after that.
Oh, he did that to the mother?
No, to Gypsy.
Oh,
He
to
choked her out
Gypsy.
and R'd her right after. She came to and then continued on this love story. So I just find it weird that you're able to do all these things after something so horrific happened. And then she
Yeah.
tried to say when it was happening, she called for her mom. It's like, but you didn't help your mom. Well, I don't know.
My thing is, watch up, man. Look, this shit just crazy. And like, she knew the boy was gonna do that. You went up and you told him to do it.
And but also mentally ill. He should, like somebody said, should be in a mental institution.
Yeah.
She manipulated him. My question is she capable of doing that
I
again?
think
If her
how is
husband
it,
out of
my
line,
thing is this: if obviously something wasn't wrong with her that bad to manipulate a man that's got mental illness that, and she knew he was gonna go through with it.
somebody
Like
said it's hard to believe some of the things
some don't
he said.
seem right about that.
I
Because
heard that.
if she had that much like thought process into doing this and planning it, why does she have that much thought process into getting the help and setting her mother up? 'Cause you know,
I
like
don't.
that's
I
where
don't.
I'm like,
Or
I'm kind
getting
of
out,
confused.
or I don't know. And I heard that too, Katie. I heard one place that they just hooked up, and her from her mouth, she said he R'd her. So I don't know. With Gypsy and that high pitched voice, I don't all the way know. If she's always telling the truth, or I don't know. Don't know
Yeah,
where
that's
this is
just
gonna go with
crazy.
her marriage, how long it's gonna last. But her husband, I would be a little scared if I were him.
Is that her husband right there?
Yeah, he was a social studies teacher. I don't know what kind of work he does now,
Oh,
but he's
what?
taking
He was
a
a
job.
what?
Social
A
studies
social
teacher. He
studies
ended up losing
teacher
his job over her, so he got a better job.
because of the reputation she carried. They didn't
Yeah.
want her to be around no kids.
Yeah, I don't know, Mona. I wonder that too, why his mother didn't put, him in an environment that would help him. Being manipulative was a learned behavior. Ah, yes. Nice observation. Wendy,
Yeah,
I was
cause
telling you about the
she
story
learned
with
it
Sarah.
basically from her mama probably.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hold on, let me draw up the screen. Can you put me on? Take me, no, take me down, but like, how do you do the thing where you don't? I'm not showing my face.
You have to do it on your end. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay, I see the camera.
Gypsy is rather that's just some narcissistic personality traits. I take
Thank
what
you.
she says with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
And then he was saying something like she would be great around children or something. I don't know. I'd be curious. I don't know. We'll see how this whole thing goes. I hope they pick back up on the documentary because I want to see how her relationship is with her husband in real time. The dynamic she has with him, being that she's never been, free in the real world. So for her to leave the situation she was in as a child to being in prison to now being in a committed relationship, I'd like to see her adjustment. I like to see you know, how she's entered into
yeah.
society. I'd like to see how that works.
I don't. She might be able to re-enter, but at the same time, I know that's on her mental. Like you helped unalive your mother. Like
That's crazy.
that shit there, it just sits. I know she still thinks about it to this day.
She has to. I'm sure she still hears those screams because that's very traumatic. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a lot.
that's just way too much.
This ain't
Way
covered
too much.
Talia Grace story. I have to look into it. I've never heard of it. Only good thing out of this is mental health awareness and to know when to seek help for yourself and loved ones who suffer from mental health. So yeah, a lot of like even her
Yeah,
father, guy Rod Blanchard, he feels guilt. He feels like, man, I wish I could. I wish she would have came to me. I would have done something. But at the same time, there's only so much he can do when he was kept in the dark.
the mother was blocking him from the child. Sound like to
That
me too.
that's what she was doing.
The
He kept it.
you was right though when you said the system had failed Gypsy. The system failed Gypsy because I think that they should have had some type of parenting plan in order to put it in place for the father to see the child too. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe she could have been saved from not having to do that. Maybe the dad would have called her eventually. You know what I'm saying? And just knowing that she was unfit, bruh, the system fucked up on this one. I ain't gonna lie, majorly. And then you said something about the doctor knew, or the doctor didn't think that,
The
but he
doctors
still
that did
went through
an
with the
MRI on
procedure to pulling out her he did something to her body. He need to be sued too.
I think
Or
it's
he
more
need
because
something
there
needs
were
to
so
happen
many
to him too.
doctors. There were so many doctors
Hmm?
involved, so all of them need to be held to the fire. And
Yeah,
she
because
went to
that's
a practice.
yeah. I think they should lose their license straight up. Because I can't believe you really got doctors out here like that.
Yeah, you just
Just
go
just
by. mouth. You just go by what the mother's saying. You just, oh,
Yeah,
all my
like
papers were lost in Katrina, so I don't have records anymore.
hell
It's
no,
no, no.
ain't no such way, ain't no such thing, ain't no. But now I ain't gonna lie, I did hear about like prisoners that were in the when Katrina hit. A lot of prisoners' paperwork got lost, and then they wasn't able to know who was like supposed to go to jail and stuff like that. There is some weird stuff happened with that. A lot of paperwork did get lost, like
I mean,
criminal paperwork.
either way, I've never heard of a doctor doing surgery on a child without some sort of test to prove that the surgery is warranted. Some sort of blood work or something that says, yes, this person has this, so I have to do this. Not just, oh, the mother told me, da 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 da, so I'm going to go with it. That's crazy to me. That's really, really crazy. And then she also mentioned how her stepmother is the mother that she wished she had or that she never had. So I like that, that side of the family is very supportive and loving for her. And I hope that they help, her rehabilitate and enter back into society. I hope everything works out for her. But like I said, I want them to pick up on this documentary. It did say to be continued. I want to see how things happen and go on for her in real time. Is she going to still pursue this celebrity lifestyle? Is she going to get a job? Is she going to continue therapy? Is she going to have a baby? I want to know more. The man said they were redundant. Oh, you guys are talking about the other story. But other than that, let me know what you think down in the comments about the whole Gypsy Rose story. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be notified anytime we do go live. The doctors were supposed to follow the law. Exactly. I feel you have empathy or pity for her, but no, not remorse for action. She will continue with this mindset. If don't continue that therapy, husband better stay on top of that for sure. Yeah, exactly. Because when I first started listening to this story, I was like, oh no, this girl seems so innocent. She went through a lot. And then when we started hearing about that night, it completely changed my perception of who she is and made me look at her totally differently. So there's definitely two sides, and then she never seems to get angry. Like, I don't know. The crazy part for me was that it happened in the 2000s, not in the 50s or even the 80s. Right. Doctors are still doing this kind of grimy stuff in the 2000s. Really? Yeah. Like her mother wouldn't even let her have friends. Yeah. She controlled all of her um, uh, interactions with the outside world. She wasn't allowed to have any interactions at all. So no wonder she went to Facebook and went on these dating sites and, whatever, and so on and so forth. But even remember when she ran away for the first time to that guy who was on parole, she said she had no clothes. She only had costumes and wigs. So she went out in this like Frozen costume or some sort of Cinderella costume. So even that, why do you not have any clothes? Like real regular
But you
clothes?
know what's crazy though, babe? It's very unsettling to hear that that she basically planned this. That's premeditation,
Exactly.
and she
Went
still
out of her
got
way.
away.
Went
She
out of her
still got away. But it's like, how can you plan something like that, but not plan to set somebody up with like recording them? Like, and you know she knew how to use a laptop because I'm hearing you say that she had a laptop. Now I'm
Yeah, the
not
mom.
blaming her for any actions that she has. Nothing should have been done to the mother. Something should have been done, but I can't say unaliving her
Life is
should have been
prison.
done.
Life is prison. It
Yeah.
should have been. Well, I mean, we'll never know.
But damn, like she knew what to do. Like she went to go. She stole a knife
Yeah, she stole
to
the weapon.
unalive
She
to
sent
to and
video. She sent
manipulate.
a video of what to
But
do.
she manipulated a whole nother little young dude.
Who was mentally ill.
Stole a knife, and the boy was mentally ill. So she knew that she can manipulate somebody's mind like that. That right there is just crazy to me. How she manipulated this young man to do this. It just doesn't sound right. Like how, but it don't seem like nothing was wrong with her brain. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. Even all them drugs she was on, getting and getting sedated and stuff like that, don't seem like nothing was wrong with her brain at all. Well, you would have think something would be wrong with her brain after the way her mama was drugging her up and doing stuff to her.
Still
Maybe
needs
this
help.
might be, yeah, she still needs help. Maybe she might be like smart enough to do that, but then so that just shows you she still has a mental illness. Maybe her brain ain't all the way there because she went through with doing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just confused at the time. Like, damn, somebody who has mental health problems can go through with a whole plan of unaliving somebody But then still at the same time they need help, they damn self. Like that's just crazy to me. Like, and they made her out as a celebrity. I don't think this should be like this should give her no celebrity status. They should just keep her out of the media.
Well, she's fully immersed in it. I mean, this girl's doing interview after interview after interview. Books are coming out, docu-series, documentaries. Like, she's making.
Man, I think it's okay to write about a book on it because you open up other people for the mental illness, you know what I'm saying, to show them in in-depth description of what happened, you know what I'm saying, being able to describe it. But as far as like making like interviews and stuff, he's doing with Gail King or somebody major, and then like after that, I wouldn't be doing those like with this. Somebody lost their life, and then somebody also lost. Well, she lost part of her life. You know what I'm saying? Because she's still alive, but still, she lost her whole childhood. She don't even know what it's like to be a child.
Yeah.
You know, like so that part right there, two people lost their lives. She took her mama life, and she lost her life. She lost part of all her life. She don't even know what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at her. Like, damn, you really went through with having your mom unalived.
Somebody said, sad thing is, what is she going to do after her 15 minutes? Hope she has good people around her now. Yep, that's a good point. And her family they do seem like good people, her family on the father's side. So I hope that they're there to hold her together and help her get the help that she needs. Because as we can see, she likes the attention.
Yeah, yeah, that just man. You think? Hold on, y'all think she like the attention, baby? You think she like the attention
I mean,
that she's
after I
getting from the
heard the
fame?
psychoanalysis that was done on her, yes, I can see that because her mother gave her a certain level of attention as well. So she probably craves it. She probably feels like she needs to have that.
Uh, 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 uh. This whole story is just as crazy. That's what I was saying. Like WTF? This whole story is just. We need you need to do more stories like this. I like
Uh, no, this is a little bit.
your dialogue on this, like how the way you
I don't like
carrying
to
this.
discuss trauma too much. I just was I was captivated by this story because I couldn't stop watching it. Once I started watching, it was 6 episodes. Once I watched the first one, I couldn't stop watching because I'm like,
They
wait,
put it
this.
on Netflix, huh?
No, it's on Lifetime. She seems very innocent when
Oh,
you first
okay.
watching it, and then it gets darker and darker and darker. So, but at the same time, what her mom did to her was very, very wrong. She went through a lot. This little girl.
There's
So
another story out there. I thought this was a story they kept showing on Facebook about this girl, like it's like she's crippled, like she's like her legs are crippled and stuff like that, and she uses these crutches. And he was calling it the House of Horrors, but I never. Every time I wanted to look at it, it's all through Facebook right now. I can't think of the girl name. She was like she's young. She looks
somebody
real, huh?
somebody said she loves the attention. She was probably lit on Prison Pals, probably because she was engaged to that guy Ken, right before Ryan. Seemed like a lot of guys were hitting her up. She even said
And
that she.
I need to understand what his mental is like to be a social studies teacher, and then you mean to tell me this man probably was looking into her history and got
No, it
he
was a
probably
bet.
got infatuated with
It was
her.
he explained it on the show. It was a bet. His friend bet. His friend he was like, "Oh, if you write this person, I'm gonna write this person." They were kind of it was a jokey thing, and so she actually responded, and it just kind of the love story continued from there.
Man, bet my ass. I ain't gonna lie to you. It just sounded like he probably was infatuated with being with somebody like that. He should have been went over. That sounded like he
Both
wanted to be with
both
her. Both of him and his colleague or whatever. How the hell such a social study teacher? Was he a high school social study teacher or what?
I,
What kind of social study teacher? High school?
I don't know. It wasn't made specifically clear. Someone said they're both mentally ill. Who was supposed to be the voice of reason between the two? Her father family is around now. Where were they then? I bet the fame is gone. Sadly, I bet they will be too. The reason why the father wasn't around is because the mother cut that off.
Yeah, the
He
mother had cut it off all the way.
cut
She
off
was
the.
blocking that man from seeing his daughter. Like she did something like saying, "Oh no, you can't come get her" or something like that. Because after they was divorced, sound like the mom had full custody. That's what
Okay,
it sounds like.
yeah, she did. It says he teaches disabled kids, and she was a disabled kid, so it's just weird. He teaches disabled
Oh
kids.
my gosh.
What? And they think
See
some of
that makes it
them.
even more. That's what I'm saying. His mental has to be something wrong with him too.
Yeah,
Something
especially if
has to
she's
be.
telling Especially if she's on the phone with him like a few days before, 12 days before, saying, "Oh, I had a dream. I went back to my ex and I talked to him on the phone," and he still stayed with her after that.
Oh Lord, I almost threw up in my throat. I'm in my mouth. That's just sickening.
Like, and then the day they're supposed to get married, he's all frantic waiting for her call, and it's like, why are you letting this girl, like, are you into the money too, Ryan? Like, I'm just, some people think that he's into the money. So
It's just sad that the fact that everybody want to just be like using this girl. It looks like people are
six
just using
social
her for her
studies.
story.
He was teaching sixth graders.
Man, sixth graders.
Yeah.
That even makes it worse. A middle school social study teacher gets marries a girl or is engaged to Gypsy, the one who unalived her mother after her mother was drugging her. Knowing she has mental problems from that being birthed into this world, not knowing what's going on and being sheltered from the outside world and being drugged as a baby on up all the way to an adult. Hell no. Hell no.
They're saying he brought his own cameraman to pick her up from prison.
What are you lying?
I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. Who makes bets on writing people in prison and playing mind games with them? It almost a fantasy
Th-
has
that's
mental.
what I'm saying.
I don't know what's going on with Ryan Anderson. I have no idea. That's
He
what I'm saying.
made a
You
bet?
guys finish this
That's
damn documentary.
crazy.
Y'all need to come and like Lifetime. Give us the rest of the documentary. We want to see what's going on with Mr. Ryan and Miss Gypsy. What is going on with this dynamic here?
That's crazy. I mean, until you mean to tell me that this man bet one of his social study buddies or one of the other teachers or it sounded like it was his colleague. They was in college together or something. He
You know,
bet this man
cameraman.
to text another inmate and he gonna do the same. They shouldn't even be playing with inmates like that. Now you would think somebody who is a social studies teacher won't even be thinking to play with inmates like that, especially with the crime considered of what she have done and committed. You know what I'm saying? You would think that, bro. I would be scared to date somebody like that. I'd be like, man, I don't know. They
Yeah,
might try to
I
set
can't.
me up.
I can't sleep next to nobody like that. Somebody
Hell
said
no.
for due diligence. Absolutely, everybody needs to be held accountable. The doctors,
Yeah. The
absolutely.
doctors for sure need to be held accountable because they would, and then whoever, man, I don't know, whoever gave that way. This my thing. Whoever hired her at whatever hospital or whatever, because what's the person who runs the whole hospital? It's a name for them. Like
I
it's
don't
not
know, but
doctor.
she had a
I
real
think it
job
is,
before
or
all
I think
this.
it is PhD or doctor or something like that, or I don't know what it is. But whoever didn't notice all that medicine missing need to be held accountable because ain't they supposed to be checking those medicine
She
cabinets?
stole the pad, Gio. That means she could write her own prescription. She stole the pad, the prescription pad. That's what they.
Everything is documented though. Everything, like even those prescription pads, that it was she the one in control of those prescription pads though.
She stole. No, this was long after she was no longer working in the field. She was just scamming with her daughter. She stole an actual prescription pad, so she was writing prescription medication so she can give fill as many as she wanted with her signature. You know what I'm saying? Like she'll write her own prescriptions.
Yeah, I was man. The mama was gonna end up doing life without parole, without the
Yeah, like
possibility of
all
parole in prison.
warrants out for her arrest. She maxed out her deceased mother's credit cards. Like she
Oh
was doing all this
Lord
other
Jesus.
fraudulent stuff already.
Oh Lord. This is the first time I'm here. I need to watch this documentary.
It's really good. Like it's really, really
She
good.
she maxed out her deceased mom's credit card.
Yes. After she allegedly offed her stepmother. Like it's just
She hold on, hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some sadness in some don't make no sense. I don't know what to put in it. But hold on, the her Gypsy's mother
yes.
maxed out her mother's card or her stepmother's card.
The deceased mother's card, allegedly. That's what was told on the documentary.
Oh yeah, it runs in the family.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going
If
on here.
something runs in a family, it's some mental health issues there that's bitten there in a family, and I think that a doctor needs to study this family, and study the woman in the family, especially Really need to on the mama side. I think the dad side will be all right. You know what I'm saying? But still, even though with this going on,
Have
study the
over
data too.
1,000
Study
in
him
cash
too.
taught them. Who
My
did?
thing is study him too. Why would you give somebody pregnant that you didn't want to have your kid, but study still get the person pregnant? He needs to be studied too.
But I'm trying to figure it out how they even met. He was only 17 and in high school. She lied.
And
She was
she
at,
was grown.
yeah. So where did she meet him? How did they meet?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. He
That
had
was
to know.
he was a minor at the time. How did she meet him?
Man, look, at
That's something I
17, you
cannot.
know when you're dealing with an adult. I think you do have enough
By
common sense
law,
to
he
know,
was still a minor.
okay,
By law, he was still a minor. She was not. So how did they meet? Is my question.
that shit crazy. That shit all the way crazy.
So from the
It-
beginning to the
I
end,
totally
full
forget about
disclosure.
that part that she was dating him when he was 17 and got pregnant. I totally forgot about that part. This sad, this nasty.
The prescriptions must not have been for a class 1 narcotic, so it was never tripped and alarmed. Wow. That just
Man, look.
all narcotics go into a database in New York. Can't do that anymore here. All the red flags. Christian Mingle is how they met. Yeah, I heard about they met on a Christian
They met
app.
on Kristen Lord. They met on
Yeah,
Kristen
somebody into
Mingle.
BDSM and offing people is on a Christian app. That's crazy. Gypsy mom was
Man.
environment, learn these behaviors from the mom, and think mental illness may have a generational thing from the. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, it
Yeah,
has to
you
be
might be right.
in the genes. It has to be
And
in the genes somewhere because man, it's not like that. She's dumb. Like that, the mama wasn't dumb either. She was smart enough to do all that. This whole daughter, it
but
wasn't no
all
was
that the
dumb.
mom had some kind of heart problem as a child. So I don't know. They didn't dive into it too much. So she had a heart problem, so she got certain type of attention as a child because of that. So
I just find this story very strange on all ends of the on all ends, both ends.
yeah.
I don't know. This story just it's a very interesting story. It's very interesting to hear because it don't sound like they're done with going into investigating everything else. Seems like a lot more needs to be investigated
And
with the mother's family
crazy.
too, especially the mother's family. Like a lot of them need to be investigated. Seriously, like not investigated, but like their brain. They need to do a brain study on them. You know how they study like how they used to do that with like some of the serial killers, the world's first serial killer, they had took his head and put it in a jar and then studied him or something like that. They need to do something where they just study people's brain while they're alive
Okay,
and they sleep patterns.
somebody says, why should she be able to profit off of her crime? I truly feel for her. AUSC she endured. No human or animal deserves that treatment. I agree. I agree 100%. That was horrific for her.
Agree.
And it doesn't sit well with me that she's making tons of money off of it, reliving that over and over and over again. Um, I think she should get a regular job and just enter back into society quietly. Like
I think she just needs to change her name and yeah, enter back in society real quietly. She
she's
needs to
coming out
change her
real
name
loud
though.
with all the interviews and just be normal or at least try to. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Having to relive this over and over and over and again for in exchange for what? For money, is it worth it?
No. Yeah. It's not.
We need more
It's really
mental.
mine.
Hope this brings light to all, including our doctors. Yeah, these doctors ain't shit. I'm sorry to say that. Um, she came out of jail with a net worth over 3 million. Yep, I mentioned that earlier. Her net worth is already at 3 million.
Yeah, those doctors that whoever did that to her, they went. They you right. They ain't shit. Come on.
Yeah, but other than
Yeah,
that,
they
we're gonna
did
talk.
wrong.
Let us know what you think down in the comments about this whole entire ordeal. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be notified anytime we do go live.
Yeah. Yeah. On the count to SPC people out. 1, 2, 3. Peace and love, y'all. Come on, Elijah.